Like, where to even begin, right? All right, welcome everybody. We have another very special guest, and I appreciate him giving me some time today. Steve Hofstetter. Steve is a comedian. He's not only very funny, but he also knows how to give it back to the audience that you've probably seen on his clips everywhere. Steve, hello. It's great to finally chat with you. I'm curious. Have you? I know that you've received like probably some backlash from a lot of people.
What?
But
Me?
starting
No, that's ridiculous.
starting off with an easy question: has
Yeah.
anyone ever tried out their material on you after a show?
Oh, absolutely. And I wouldn't say tried out their material as much as it's tried to force me to listen to a bad street joke. But whenever that happens, like, I mean, I've been doing stand up 22 years now. And so if anyone ever says to me like, "Oh, I have this joke," I'll always just go, "No." And there'll be times when, like, "Oh, come on." I'm like, "No, that's okay. No, thanks." And if they keep insisting, I'll be like, "Look, this has never ended well. I'm trying to save you an awkward moment. Please don't." And every time that happens, whoever they're there with is also trying to get them to stop.
Mm.
But people can be very insistent. It was probably about, my first 10 years or so before I had the confidence to just tell people no. And every single one of them was either horrifically unfunny, something I heard when I was in like second grade, racist, or a combination of any of those three. It was
Gotcha.
awful.
So give me
Yeah.
the racist one first. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Racist one. Oh man, I had early on, I'm talking maybe 5 years in. I was taking an airport shuttle in Charleston, West Virginia.
Oh boy.
And the other person waiting for the shuttle is like very attractive woman about the same age. We start chatting. We have similar backgrounds, similar interests. We're, chatting each other up, having a good time. We get picked up by the shuttle, and I was talking to her about, being a stand-up and traveling around. And so then the driver hears that and just starts launching into racist street jokes. And I was like, "Hey man, please stop." And he just kept going. And it was just, there's never been, I think, a bigger cock block than a airport shuttle driver hurling racist quote unquote jokes at us. And it was just like, "Okay, have a good one. It was good talking to you. Goodbye."
So,
That was it.
so did you offer to drive after that?
I offered to crash us into the side of the mountain. It was all, I mean, look, all worked out. I'm happy with my life. I love my wife. Everything is great. But, in that moment, I was just, and I don't tell people I'm a comedian because of that.
Totally.
When I check into a hotel, when I rent a car, like all these different things, when I get a haircut, all these different things where people ask, "What do you do? What are you here for?" etc. I just, traveling for work. If people insist, I tell them that I work in insurance, which is particularly funny because that's what my wife works in. And she did not work in insurance when I met her. But now I know enough about it that I can bullshit my way through another question or two if I need to.
What did she work in prior to insurance?
She was in HR.
Oh, okay. Probably some horror stories there too. Probably some
Yes,
like,
yeah. She was
you
in
know,
HR for a relatively small company, and not in the part of HR that gets people in trouble, like in the part of HR that helps with like benefits and stuff.
how did
Which is
you?
why
I'm sorry.
now
Go ahead.
insurance makes sense.
Right, of course. I'm curious. How did you like gain the confidence to start telling people no? Like, I really don't want to hear this, because that's like an awkward position, to be put in, where you don't want to be an a-hole, but you also have to be like, "Hey, this is not going to end well for any of us."
Also, I just realized you said a-hole and I cursed. Should I censor myself on this or
I
no?
mean, it's easier for YouTube purposes, but do whatever you want.
Okay,
I'm going to clean it
fair
up
enough.
in post.
Fair enough. Okay, I can. I mean, look, I've done enough morning radio that I can do that. I
Well, wait. Does your stuff get demonetized if you swear a lot on YouTube?
No, no. I mean,
No?
occasionally, but
Okay.
my channel is that. So I think that's probably why. Like occasionally I'll have a video, but they also sometimes demonetize when enough people just report a video. So anything that I do that's like overtly progressive, a bunch of people report it. because they're, fragile idiots who call other people snowflakes while they're having a meltdown.
Amen.
But as long as you don't curse in the first like 10 seconds or so, it's usually fine.
All right, well, fuck it then. No, I'm just kidding.
I bleep to be safe.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it's not demonetizing as much as the algorithm. But either way, I mean, developing that confidence just comes from part of it is just being tired. Part of it is like just realizing you don't have to put up with this, and also understanding that like, I'm a big fan of that phrase, the customer is always right, but with a caveat. Not everyone's a customer. Not everyone who walks in a door of a restaurant is a customer. A customer is someone who will come back time and time again. The type of people who will be like, I'm taking my business elsewhere, and be like, great, well, this is Target and you were buying a pen, so goodbye. Like, it's not going to affect anyone.
You're buying a pen in the gay section of Target.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. I got a really nasty email when I was running digital shows over the pandemic. We did a fundraiser for the Wisconsin Dems that actually helped flip Wisconsin. And we got a really nasty email when we announced it from someone be like, I'm never buying another ticket to one of your shows. And I looked at her account and I wrote back to her and I said, of the 23,000 or whatever tickets we had sold, you've purchased exactly one, and that was 4 months ago. So have a good one. We're still going to be who we are. And I think you need to take that approach to business, because servicing someone who is a terrible customer is a disservice to those who are good.
Yes, great point. Here's another thing that I've kind of noticed is in a lot of your sets, but also like I've seen Jesselnick live. Like I've seen people heckle him, and like he handles it totally fine. I agree with you that the customer is not always right. I also feel like there's a social contract that needs to be binded and needs to be agreed upon for both parties to have that sort of acceptance of like, yeah, the customer can always be right, but you're also not upholding your end of the bargain per se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?